ॐ ह्रीं शान्तानन्दहंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ ह्रीं शान्तानन्दहंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ ह्रीं शान्तानन्दहंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ Rini, 7th verse. सप्तास्यासन् परिधयः Rini?
Hello, கேக்குறதானப்போ நான் பேசுறது?
இப்போ கேக்குது.
இப்போ சாரி. ஓகே. सप्तास्यासन् परिधयः सप्तास्यासन् परिधयः
त्रिसप्तः समिधः कृताः
त्रिसप्तसमिधः कृताः त्रिसप्तसमिधः कृताः
देवायद्यज्ञन्तन्भानाः
देवायद्यज्ञन्तन्बाणाः देवायद्यज्ञन्तन्बाणाः
अबध्नन् पुरुषं पशुम्
अबध्नन् पुरुषं पशुम् अबध्नन् पुरुषं पशुम् सप्तास्यासन् परिधयः त्रिसप्तसमिधः कृताः देवायद्यज्ञन्तन्बाणाः अबध्नन् पुरुषं पशुम् सप्तास्यासन् परिधयः त्रिसप्तसमिधः कृताः देवायद्यज्ञन्तन्बाणाः अबध्नन् पुरुषं पशुम्.
Very good. Then when you say samidah kritaha, the ha doesn't have to be so harsh. See, the beauty about Vedic chants is there must be enough stress, but it shouldn't be too harsh. Huh?
Okay.
You just take note. Saptah samidah kritaha. So you don't have to make it very harsh.
Okay.
You understand, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
Super. CNV. CNV. चल रहे हैं हाँ सप्तास्यासन् परिधयः त्रिसप्तः समिधः कृताः
अदेदान्य सप्तास्यासन् परिधयः त्रिसप्तः समिधः कृताः
देवायद्यज्ञन्तन्भानाः
अबध्नन् पुरुषं पशुम्
Once more. सप्तास्यासन् परिधयः त्रिसप्तः
समिधः कृताः
देवायद्यज्ञन्तन्भानाः अबध्नन् पुरुषं पशुम्. Super. Chandra Mama, you want to chant once?
Yes, நான் சொல்றேன்.
Are you able to see, Mama?
இது இருக்கு. இதோ இருக்கு. எனக்கு வரலையே, இது அசஸ் பண்ண முடியல.
Permission இல்லைன்னு சொல்றாங்க. Not able to see the share,
ஆமா. இது இல்ல இது போட முடியல. வீடியோ போட முடியல. காதுல வருதா?
பரவாயில்லை, இல்ல கேக்குறது. Able to hear you.
Okay. Okay. எதுல இருந்து சொல்லணும்?
Saptasyasan paridhayah.
சப்தாஸ்யாம் பரிதயः த்ரிசப்த சமித கிருதாः தேவா யஜ்யம் தன்வானாம் அபத்னன் புருஷம் பசும்.
Very nice. திரும்ப சொல்லுங்க.
சப்தாஸ்யாசன் பரிதயः த்ரிசப்த சமித கிருதாः தேவா யஜ்யம் தன்வானாः அபத்னன் புருஷம் பசும்.
Very nice one. Very good. Excellent. So this is the 7th verse. So again, just bringing the context back. Now the creation has occurred. And the last week we said the creation is sustained by yajna, which means you offer and then you reap. You give and then you get. This is what the idea of yajna was introduced, right? Because from Virata came Adhipurushaha, then the Bhumi, Paschat Bhumi, Matho Puraha, Bhumi, which means the created world came, and it was sustained by the yajna of the Devatas. Yat Purushena Havisha. So they used the Brahman itself or the Purusha itself as the Havis. And then the seasons came and we saw the cycles came. Vasanta, Grishma, Sharad, Rutu, the 3 seasons. And then the cycles of the seasons, they offer all that as yajna, which means we offer time. Even offering time is a sacrifice. There are in yajna, loosely translated as sacrifice. Okay, in English, the word yajna is very loosely translated as sacrifice. But it is not sacrifice in that context, the way it is used in English, right? In English, whether you're willing or unwilling, there would be sacrifice. And somebody can sacrifice you. Okay. Because somebody can put you on the altar and make a sacrifice of you. It's not that doesn't, yajna doesn't mean that. Yajna in that sense means that which you are offering. So the yajamana of the yajna is very important. The one who is offering becomes important. Why that is important? Because his intention, his bhavana, his the intention with which he is wanting to do the yajna, that becomes very important, and the process of doing it is also important. So that way, the yajna or sacrifice, you also sacrifice time. So when somebody is giving their time, their effort, their mind, their intelligence, their heart, all of these are offerings. These are things that one would offer. And what do you gain in return is something that subsequently the Purusha Sukta will also talk about. You will gain prosperity. You will gain, which is how it starts, auspiciousness. Achchayyoravrini gatum yajnaya gatum yajnapataye daivi swastirastunaha. Swastihi means auspiciousness. May auspiciousness be bestowed upon all of us when we offer. So remember, the cycle is always, if you notice your life, if you notice the way our life proceeds, you'll always notice it's only cases when you give, there is a joy in receiving something. Right? When you're very young, when you're small, there is a lot of joy in receiving. But as you grow, as you mature, as you understand the way the world works, the way nature itself takes from you. It is said, right? Nature always creates a balance. So if you are always in the mode of taking, nature will figure out a way to take from you. It will force you to give, whether you like it or not. And we've seen this in life. As you go through maturing, through our experiences, we will realize this. So why not understand this method of the way this existence is, the way the whole cycle is built on yajna. That is the foundation of this whole creation is based on yajna. Right? In fact, very simple example. The other day I was talking to my daughter and she was saying that she is very hungry and she also wanted to go to the restroom. So I said, what would you do first? Then I'll go to the restroom first. So I said, see, there's naturally your built to give first. You're built to let go first and then you go to consume. So we're naturally built that way also, and then we need to recognize this. And the more it becomes conscious, the more we become conscious of wanting to give, and what we receive starts becoming beautiful. So this is the basis of this, the context that we set last week. Now he is going on, the Rishi of the Purusha Sukta is creating how the yajna is built. Okay. So he is going on to explain the way the yajna is built here. Saptasyasan paridhayaha trisaptas samidah kritaha deva yajnyan tanvanaha abadhnan purusham pashum. So saptasyasan paridhayaha. There are, paridhaya means boundaries. There are 7 boundaries or 7. You can call it as boundaries or you can call it as realms or lokas or whatever. But essentially, it is bounded by a septagonal structure. Okay. And in that, the samit means the sticks. Those who are familiar of doing, those who are Agnihotris would know, or even those who have done during your Avaniyavattam, or even, I mean, even if you don't do it during your Avaniyavattam, you would have done it during your Upanayanam. You would do that. There's a homa built, and then you would add samit. If you've seen Vadyaras doing that at a homa, you would know what I'm talking about. But there are times that we also do, and there are Agnihotris who do Nitya Agnihotram. So where they create a homa, there's a homa that's there in the house, and they'll always keep adding samit. And samit is an extremely important ingredient for a yajna. And which is why in those days, the disciple, when he goes to a guru, one of the most important things he will carry with him as an offering to the guru at the start of the teaching is samit. Samit Panaya, he will carry the samit with him in his hands and he'll offer it to the guru. 2 things. One is symbolically to tell the guru that I am like these dry sticks. See, samit can become a fuel stick only when it is dry. And these sticks are found in the forest. These are particular types of sticks or twigs. And these are available as a fuel only when it's dry enough. If it's wet, it cannot catch on fire and it will not be useful for the yajna. So 2 ways of looking at what the Shishya is doing when he is going to the Guru. He's saying, I offer myself as this samit, which is I am as dry as these twigs, which means you can light the fire of knowledge in me, which means I am ripe. I have prepared myself. I have done Chitta Shuddhi. I have done Karma Yoga. I'm preparing myself, O Guru, to be worthy of the knowledge that you're going to give me. So that is one symbolic reason why the Shishya carries the samit and offers it to the Guru. The second is a practical reason, because the Guru always in his ashram will have yajna or homa going on continuously. So he will be in need of samit. So you're giving him the thing that he needs the most. So as a Guru, he will require a samit the most, and as a disciple, we're going and offering that. So samit that way is very important for the yajna to continue. So what he says, Saptasyasan paridhayah trisaptas samidah kritaha. Now, the boundary is 7 structured, and the summit, what is offered as the summit? Trisapta. Trisapta is 3 into 7. 3 into 7 is what? 21. And there are 21 summit offered samida kritaha. 21 objects or entities that are offered as summit in the homa, in the yajna. What are those 21? There are, because you remember this whole yajna we are talking about is not offering material from the outside, which is the beauty about Purusha Sukta, because Purusha Sukta appears like a Vedic ritual, which is why in most of the homas you see, whenever there is a homa or a yajna that is held at home or in temples, Rudram is usually chanted during the Abhishekam. At the start of the homa, Purusha Suktam is chanted. Always you'll notice this. There's Purusha Suktam chanted and Taittiriya Upanishad. Usually the first Shikshavalli is chanted. Why Purusha Suktam? Because it looks like a Vedic, all of these sound Vedic rituals. You're talking about Yajna, you're talking about Homa, you're talking about Samit, you're talking about the structure of the Homakunda. Then you're talking about what Havis is offered, all of this. So it resembles a Vedic ritual, but the same Purusha Suktam also makes it very clear that this is not an external ritual. Yat Purushena Havisha. Purusha himself is the Havis. Grishma Idhma Sharad Havihi. Grishma Rutu and the Sharad Rutu, they all become the Havis. So which means the Purusha Suktam itself is introducing us to a more esoteric understanding of the Sukta. It is not left to interpretation saying that, okay, I have said it this way, now you go and interpret. The Sukta itself makes a much deeper reference by saying that this is an internal yajna. So here, Trisapta Samidah Kritaha means there are 21 things that are offered as Samit. Now, what are those 21 things? In Sankhya, usually, Sankhya philosophy by Kapila Muni, the whole creation is broken down into 24 elements, starting from the Purusha, then Prakriti, then Mahat, and so on and so forth. There are 24 elements till the Pancha Mahabhutas. So now, keeping that in context, here, what are those 21 elements are? The 5 elements, great elements, which are the Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. Space, air, fire, water, earth. The Pancha Mahabhutas, this is 5. Then you have the Pancha Prana, or so which means you're looking at yourself, right? Yourself as the Homakunda, yourself as the Yajna, the place where the Yajna is happening. So all of these form you are made up of the 5 elements. And then you have the 5 organs of what you call as so now the 5 Pancha Mahabhutas are associated with the 5 Tanmatras, which is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha. Okay, so you hear Shabda, which is sound, Sparsha is touch, Rupa is form, Rasa is taste, Gandha is smell. So there are 5 Tanmatras that come from the 5 Pancha Mahabhutas, or essentially the other way. But in our experience, you experience the Pancha Mahabhutas of the world through these 5 Tanmatras: sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. So this is 5. Then you have what is known as the Pancha Karmendriya and the Pancha Jnanendriyas. Pancha Jnanendriyas means 5 organs of perception, which are what? The organs of perception are the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, and the skin. 5 organs of perception through which you consume data, and 5 organs of action. What are the action? Your mouth. Now the organ of perception, mouth is the tongue. Tongue is the taste. So that is the organ of perception. But mouth, when it speaks, it becomes an organ of action. Okay. So you have 5 organs of action: mouth, your legs, your hands, your anus, and your reproductive system. These are 5 organs of action. And then you have the Pancha Prana. Pranaya Swaha, Apanaya Swaha, Vyanaya Swaha, Udanaya Swaha, Samanaya Swaha. These are 5 prana, the 5 vital airs. So you got 5 tanmatras. You've got 5, the Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriya, and the Pancha Prana. So 5, 5, 5, 5 is 20. So you've got 20 elements there, or the 20 entities. And then there is one entity called Antahkarana. Antahkarana means the inner faculties, which is Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. The mind is the Manas. Buddhi is the intelligence. Chitta is the storehouse of our memory. And Ahankara is the ego that holds all of this together. So all this is together called as Antahkarana, which is 1. So 20 plus 1, 21. So there are 21 entities within us which we offer as samit. Trisapta samidah kritaha. So 21, 3 sapta is 3 into 7, 21. These 21 are these faculties or entities within me which define me as I know myself. I offer all of this as samit, as the fuel into the fire. Okay. Now, then you have, sorry, what do you have next? Devayad yajnyantan vanaha. So the devatas perform this yajna in this form. And then what is the sacrificial animal? Purusham Pashum Abadhnan. Abadhnan is, which means they have tied the Purusha himself as the sacrificial animal. Sacrificial animal is what? The havis. Whatever you offer as the object of what you need, what you want the gods to consume is the havis. In our case, we will usually, if you participated in homas, you would know we will offer some rice or some pulses or some prasadam that you eat. You usually offer it as havis towards the end, because you want the devatas that you're invoking to consume that, right? So you're using mantras to invoke them, and then you're offering havis for them to consume. Here the Purusha himself is the havis, or the sacrificial animal, the animal that will be sacrificed and offered. Like in the previous verse it is mentioned, Yat Purushena Havisha. So the Purusha becomes the havis. And the devatas second. Yeah. And the devatas are offering this. So what it means is, within us, we are creating this yajna. We are creating this yajna which has 7 boundaries. Saptasyasan paridhayah sapta asya asan paridhayah. Then Trisapta Samidah Kritaha. I am offering 21 things into it as Samit. Deva Yat Yajnyantan Vanaha. And this is the way the Devatas offer or Devatas perform this. Now, I am the Yajamana of this Yajna. I am making this offering. And who am I offering as? Or the Havis is Purusha himself, which means I am offering myself. To whom I am offering it? To Purusha. Okay. So this whole process of yajna here is presented as a whole sacrificial sorry. Whole thing is done as a sacrificial rite within myself. And again, what is 7? 7, there are different kinds of 7s, right? 7 is, you have Sapta Loka, Sapta Rishayah, Sapta Jikhva. There's 7 tongues of fire. Fire that rises is known to have 7 tongues, which means it consumes whatever you offer through 7 different tongues. Sapta Jikhva. And then Surya Bhagavan has Sapta Ashvaha, 7 horses. There are Sapta Lokaha, 7. Thanks. Right? There are 7 lokas, higher lokas and 7 lower lokas. There are Sapta Chakras, 7 chakras within us. Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddhi, Agnya and Sahasrara. Sapta Chakras. So consider all of these are mentioned as Sapta. Sapta Asan Paridhayah, which means there's a boundary of these 7. What is this boundary? The boundaries are these, which is within me. I am governed by the 7 chakras. There is a fire that is within me, which is Jatara Agni. And Agni has 7 tongues. It consumes. So I consume. And I see light, which is all 7 colored, Vibjior. So you notice everything, all of these 7 are related to me. The paridhaya is, which means I am bounded by these 7 in some form or the other. So this Yajna Kunda, which is me, the Yajna Kunda, which is me, is bounded by the 7, is the Yajna Kunda. So the the Homa Kunda that is being referred to here is me. And what am I offering? I'm offering myself. Trisapta Samidah Kritaha. The Pancha Tanmatras, the Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, Pancha Prana, and the Antakarana. I'm offering all of this into this. And then at the end, who am I offering it? Who am I offering? I'm offering the Purusha himself. Who am I offering it to? I'm offering it to Purusha. Okay. So that is this particular verse where this whole imagery of the yajna is created. And the next verse is also how the Purusha the Purusha himself is offered as a sacrificial animal. And how do they do this? How they do the sacrifice is mentioned here. So the Purusha is tied, abadhnan. Abadhnan is the Purusha. Abadhnan means he is tied or bound. And then they are offered by sprinkling holy water on them. Right? Prokshanam. Prokshanam சொல்லுவோம் தெரியுமா தமிழ்ல prokshanam பண்றது அப்படின்னு. So Barhishi Prokshan. So they do So which is, I mean, those who have seen how generally an animal sacrifice is done, they first தண்ணி தெளிக்கிறது அப்படின்னு சொல்ல தண்ணி தெளிச்சு um, 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 what they do is they wake up the animal. So this is an interesting thing, right? Um, usually whenever there's a sacrifice done for an animal, they will first, the manja tani or tanni or whatever, they usually use some form of water, sanctified water, and they spray it or sprinkle it on the animal's face, because it kind of then wakes up the animal, and then they do the sacrifice. Because one of the reasons they say is that the animal shouldn't go into a state of fear, and there mustn't be a lethargy in the animal when the sacrifice is happening, and it shouldn't go into a state of fear. So they sprinkle water, and then they sanctify the animal, and then they sacrifice. This is what is explained in the next verse, where the Purusha himself is now the sacrificial animal, and this is how he is sacrificed. Okay. So now the whole idea, as you see, is there is a constant correlation done to an external ritual. But clearly, because Purusha is the sacrificial animal, it doesn't say Yerma Madu or a Madu or a goat or anything like that. It doesn't mention any other animal here as a sacrificial animal. It mentions Purusha himself, which means it's clearly symbolic in nature. There is no Purusha that you're going to catch and sacrifice in a ritual, right? So the sacrifice that is talked about here is symbolic in nature, and the sacrifice is an internal sacrifice. Okay. Now, what we will do is before going to the next, I will pick up the next verse in the next week. But what is important is there is this constant repetition of understanding what is sacrifice. Our whole life has to be converted into a yajna. It is not about telling that, I have sacrificed my life for my mother, for my father, for my child, for my husband. No. It is not about telling that I have sacrificed my life for somebody and then feeling that, oh, I have not received but Purusha Sukta says you have to sacrifice everything in your life, but I have not received anything auspicious. No, it's not. It is not that way. It is a sense that we carry within of sacrifice, which means it's a sense of giving. Every opportunity to give, we should feel it as an opportunity. Like my guru's guru would say, when somebody is seeking help, in our minds, we thank God that he has given me an opportunity to serve. Now, it's a tall ask. We can't keep doing that all the time, right? Then what about my life? What will happen for my aspirations, my desires, what I want to achieve? I can't keep doing it for people all the time. It's not like that. It's about maintaining a balance within ourselves to ensure that we are sufficiently giving in some way or the other, in small ways, right? I would say even small things you would pick up, right? At home, if you're going to have your food, make sure that you've done something in the process there. Maybe you've laid the table. Maybe you have washed the vessels. Maybe after the food is eaten, you're cleaning up the place. If you're not cooking, if you're not doing the main cooking, at least do some things that you think you have now made yourself worthy enough to receive the food. Of course, people who are earning would say that I am the one who's earning, so I am bringing money, so the food is made out of the money and all of that, right? So I am giving somewhere else. Those are all, we're not talking about that kind. Of course, that is true, but then we're talking about the bhavana. We're talking about the intention with which we approach everything. When you receive something, which is why it's always said that when you get something, you must give the return gift. No idea. We have got this idea of a return gift. That is because you just don't take something, also give something in return. If you know this practice in generally in households, we have this. If you've taken from somebody, somebody's for example, you're traveling and somebody has given you packed lunch for you or something for you, snacks for you in a container of theirs. And when you return the container, we'll never return the container empty. We will always put something into the container and give it back. What it means is that we have to make ourselves worthy of receiving. And this is something that we need to constantly process. Am I worthy of receiving this? Have I earned my meal? Have I earned what I'm receiving? Have I worked for it? Have I done something for that particular thing? Right? Have I given my time? Have I given my energy? Have I given my mind? Have I given my heart? Or have I given or even if a material, if I've given a certain material in return for receiving something? This, as we inculcate this habit in children also, that is yajna. And then we will understand that this whole creation exists on yajna. Only because somebody is giving, we are receiving, right? So then the cycle has to be complete. We have to give. This is true for knowledge also. If we learn and we seek, whenever we find an opportunity, we must give. We must teach two things. If we have learned 20 things, we must give at least one and a half thing to somebody. This is very important. I have seen people who have been learning, and then towards the end, they come to a point where there is so much that the desire to give rises very late, or they become conscious of that, and they don't find sufficient opportunities to give. So this giving and taking should happen almost in parallel. As we receive, we give in whatever form. So that is yajna. Saptasyasan paridaya trisaptas samidah kritaha deva yajnyan tanvanaha abadhanan purusham pashum. Om kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmana va prakrite svabhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami सदाशिवायेति समर्पयामि जगदम्बिकायै इति समर्पयामि सद्गुरुनाथाय इति समर्पयामि हरि ओम तत्सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः ओम जय गुरुदेव हरि ओम
हरि ओम।